Welcome back to Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel. Yeah, it's getting into this costume season. Deal with it. Y'all love it. We designed a credit card around it. I didn't. There's a credit card designed around this theme. Joined as always by RJ from our little show. RJ, how are you today?
You know what, Matt? I'm good. You know why I'm good? Because I have a mirror finish platinum card that is just delightful to look at. It is wonderful. And the icon for our Discord, if you go to stackyourpoints.com, click on the Discord link, is Matt in said Snuggie that our wonderful member Spaceco designed. So we have it there. We have it in person on Matt's body, and I have a mirror finish platinum. So honestly, today could not get much better.
That mirror finish platinum still makes me twitch. The icon, though, does not necessarily me. I refer to that icon as Matt and Oswald because it looks more like Pat and Oswald than it looks like me, but I get it. We're also joined by Craig. Craig, how are you today?
I am doing well. I also have a very beautiful, shiny Death Ray mirror card and just got my credit from said card. Oh, wow, the bottle's invisible. But, oh, there we go. A Lululemon water bottle I'm sipping out of from my credit, along with some travel pouches. So, yeah, I'm doing fantastic.
Once again, I fully appreciate that Zoom just decides to Greek out these products until they pay us.
But thank you, Zoom.
Absolutely. Craig, a nice new mic, I see.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Sounds good. Looks good.
Hopefully, people will stop complaining about my crunchy voice, and now they can hear the truly nails on a chalkboard that is me.
Once again, as I said, if any complaints, keep them to yourself. We're good. No, we need the engagement. So keep on commenting. And finally, last but not least, we are joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. Lonnie, how are you today, aside from deciding that going all in on all inclusive is the way to go?
I didn't say go all in on all inclusive. I just said put it on your radar. But unlike my other co-host with a platinum card that got their mirror finish, for anyone out there that got yours already, y'all can kiss my left booty cheek because I am mad that mine hasn't showed up yet. And that is a true hater statement right there. Love you, but I'm going to be a hater because mine isn't here yet. That's all I got.
Just so you know, the right booty cheek is on OnlyFans only.
I've already rented that one out. So I would have to break someone's lease for the right booty cheek. So
we don't have money for a lease breaking right now. Not in this economy.
There's some vacancy back there though. For all y'all that got mirror finish. Got plenty of room for y'all on the left side.
This might be the earliest we've broken Matt in the podcast history.
Oh.
Okay. So that happened. You know what? You could just be on team don't bother with the platinum because you think the new mirror finish is ostentatious and silly. But no, we went there. All right. That's fine.
Look, we all know it doesn't matter what finish you have. You're not putting it in your wallet. It's a digital card. No. It's a digital card no matter how you use it.
Well,
I would say this is one of the few cards that looks better in physical form than digital form.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Now, I've seen the videos and the pictures and all that other stuff. It's a great looking card. And I think it would be fun to have, even if it's just, hey, it's fun to have it for whatever. If it just sits in the sock drawer, just be like, hey, you can pull it out every now and then, unless you're on a trip where you're actually going to use the thing. But yeah, mine just hasn't shown up yet. And everyone is like, oh, it was going to show up on October 3rd, and they already got theirs. And I'm just sitting here. I don't even got my tracking number. So once again, booty cheek, left side, full vacancy.
Title of this episode I was hoping for was going to be ostentatious and silly, but no, it's going to end up being a whole left booty cheek, isn't it?
You know what? Right now I have ostentatious and silly. We'll see how the night goes.
It's going to be one of those nights. If I was punchy last week, it feels like Lonnie's the punchy one today.
I saw the punch I got. Just wanted to know why I'm getting singled out here. That's all.
Again, you could just rejoin team, don't have the card. And now it's super valuable. Don't worry about it. All right. With that out of the way, let's move into questions as we usually do. Our first question this week comes from Ganelon, who asks, an eccentric man in the United States is selling a Grail worth $5 million for only $5,000. Many people line up for the chance to buy it, but you're first. The seller only has a card reader for payment and gives you 5 seconds to complete the transaction in one attempt, or else he moves on to the next buyer and you lose the Grail. Each card and which payment method, swipe, insert, or tap, would you use to make sure the payment goes through? Please share your thoughts. Assume you do not have a American Express Centurion, JP Morgan Reserve, or similar luxury cards. We can throw in the Platinum. We can throw in the Sapphire Reserve if you also choose. But, Craig, you're getting a 99% off a Grail. What card do you buy? What card do you buy?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say a CSR. I, oddly enough, checked my Platinum buying power today, and Amex has far too much trust in me. Far too much. But I'm going to assume if this person is silly enough to sell a $5 million Grail for $5,000, they're probably not going to take Amex because this is also silly. And in the split second that they don't take Amex, well, I've wasted my turn trying to use the Platinum. So I know my CSR limit is high enough, and worst case scenario, if I get burned, I can go back to Chase and say this was fraud.
That's fair.
That's me.
RJ.
Also, I love that everybody here except Matt has essentially a Centurion and a JP Morgan Reserve card.
I have a Sapphire Reserve.
That's right, you sure do. Never mind. We all have some combination of the little brothers of these cards.
Indeed.
I apologize.
RJ, how are you dealing with this potentially obvious grift?
Apple Card, Apple Pay. Because I know my limit on that card. I don't have to worry about the Amex issue, which I didn't think about until just now. Appreciate that, Craig. My answer is usually going to be whatever card is my first card in Apple Pay because all of them have a high enough limit where I can put $5,000 on them without worrying. So I'm not super worried there. But if I knew ahead of time, I would swipe my Apple Card down to the bottom because I've never had an issue with it needing my face twice. So if it's about speed and not reward, because if I now have a $5 million Grail, that sucker is going up to Sotheby's in about 45 seconds after I won the Grail, then I don't care about the rewards on the card. I just want it locked in and then I can auction it off and everybody's happy.
I have a genuine question because I'm somehow a credit card YouTuber that does not know credit cards. Does the Apple Card have protections? And that's not from a purchasing a Grail standpoint. Are there any protections on the Apple Card?
Protections as in
Purchasing
Return,
protections?
purchase, price.
Anything.
I feel like I should know this. I haven't used my Apple Card regularly in 2.5 years because I don't do a ton of cashback anymore. I knew it at one point. I don't know off the top of my head anymore.
I've only ever made 2 purchases on my Apple Card. One was for an iPad and the other were for AirPods. So I don't have a lot of experience.
It is a World Elite MasterCard, so it doesn't have the cell phone protection that usually comes with it because Apple would like you to buy Apple Care. I imagine there are still some purchase protections. Go to Lonnie, Matt, and I will real-time follow up.
Lonnie, how are you approaching
this? I don't have an Apple Card, and probably won't even consider getting one until the new bank is officially announced and takes over. But anyway, this dude is obviously selling something stolen, and you should buyer beware. And if he's trying to push it off that fast for that price, it's illegal for you to make the purchase. We're just going to go ahead and say that. But out of all the credit cards that I have, I only have one that has a limit that's less than $5,000, and that's that first card I keep talking about. My first student card. It's the only card that doesn't have a $5,000 limit on it. So I would basically use any other card, and it should go through without problem, without question, without fail. Other than if I have to make the purchase, because I would actually walk away from this, it's too good to be true, I'd probably use like my United Explorer card, get the miles on it, and it also has protections on it. So I'd be covered. Not by the law, but at least by the purchase.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me start with saying I have no earthly idea of the legitimacy of this Grail. And since they're giving me 5 seconds to complete the transaction, we're not going to be able to see that it is authenticated in any way. We have no way of knowing that you're actually getting the steal of the century because it's probably stolen, as Lonnie said. So you making the purchase is going to make you an accessory after the fact, probably. And as for a card, I'm going to try and get the strongest, most try to help me out purchase protections that could possibly exist, except they're not going to help me. Because when you make a fraudulent purchase, it's not on the banks to help you solve that issue. I would likely use an Amex of some kind. The only Amex cards that I have are Blue Business Plus. I'm not going to put it on that because no, I need protections. And then I have the Hilton Honors card. So I could use my Hilton Honors card for sure. I'll live in a fantasy world where I've got a gold card with a pretty good spending power on it. You know what? Let's just plot myself into giving myself a gold. I'll use the tap to pay method just so that they can't skim too much information. For a question like this, tap to pay, because Google Wallet, Samsung Wallet, Apple Wallet, they're all going to give you that extra layer of protection where the card reader is not going to get the full number. They're going to get the tokenized version of the card's number. I would say that tap via your mobile wallet of choice is going to be your best option, security-wise. Do not give this person your physical card. Do not physically put your card in this reader. Do not physically tap your card to this reader. Give yourself an extra level of protection. That is where mobile wallet can come into play. So I'm gonna conjure myself up a gold or green card, because given what American Express gives me for spending capabilities, I don't even have that many American Express cards. American Express likes me a lot for unknown reasons. They like to give me vast amounts of credit. So it'd go on an Amex card. And I'm putting that through a mobile wallet just to give myself a little extra protection. This is a little too fantastical. I probably wouldn't have even swiped in the first place because, nah, dude, there's something wrong here. Unless you've got an authenticator there.
I think the question was asked legitimately. I understand all of us being like, whoa. But I do think to the asker of the question, I do think they asked this question as we take it at face value, this thing is worth $5,000. I think they were asking basically, what method do we trust the most in this situation?
Oh, in this particular situation, I am absolutely trusting mobile wallet above all else. Doesn't matter what card I'm mobile wallet. Apple mobile wallet is going to do a tokenization of your card for each of those transactions. So like they add that extra level. I am certain that Google Wallet or Samsung Wallet do the same thing, although I have never played in that ecosystem. Lonnie, I assume it's tokenization, right?
They do, yes.
Because it'd be silly if they didn't. So for something like this, absolutely tokenization. Also, for us going down the rabbit holes that we did, we have 2 Syracuses on this show.
2.5 on a good day.
Yeah. So one of the Syracuse minds on this show is going to Syracuse it. So we just have to. No, but Ganelon, I think we can all come to a good consensus that you're probably going to want to use mobile wallet here. And something with hella strong protections. So thanks so much for that. We'll move over to our next question. It comes from Double Animal Fries, who asks, which credit card do you take with you on a trip? And I'm going to, because it's a little overly broad, I'm going to say specifically international trips. What are you taking internationally? And you can tell me your domestic wallet as well. Craig, we'll start with you on this one.
Oh, back to back. I'm fancy.
Oh,
So
dang.
for what?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I keep it simple. I have hotel, dining, lounge, other, and I usually try to keep my hotel and my other card as the same thing unless I'm working on a sub. So depending on where I'm staying, it's probably Bonvoy Brilliant or the Hilton Aspire. And then if you're taking Amex at any point in time, I'm probably also going to use that hotel card for that as well. I try to not bring as too many cards with me while I'm going international. But then on top of that, I will bring a MasterCard and a Visa. So for right now, the MasterCard of in choice will be the American Airlines Executive and the Visa for as long as this, which unfortunately I think I'm probably going to keep it long term, and I hate myself for it. But CSR is my Visa of choice, or the Venture X. But I'm probably moving away from Capital One. We will see if Japan Airline miles are any better than AA miles, but I doubt it. So yeah, whatever my hotel card is, and that will do triple duty as an other and a dining card, unless they don't take Amex, in which case CSR is running for dining and other, just because, again, unless you are buying a $90,000 Birkin bag, the few points that you will miss out on by spending at 1X isn't that big a deal. Also, I'm just going to say this. I very rarely internationally pull out a physical card. It is mostly just mobile wallet, unless I'm checking into a hotel and they need a physical card for incidentals. For the most part, it's pretty much all mobile or cash. And then internationally, I'll try to have at least the whatever the local equivalent is of $200 on me in cash. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Domestically, I keep it even simpler. It's a gold card. It's a Blue Business Plus, and whatever lounge and hotel card I have. That's it.
Nice, straightforward. Lonnie, what cards do you take with you on the trip?
A lot, actually. I feel like it's a lot, but no matter what. So there is a slight difference between domestic and international. So I'm going to lean on international, and my go-to international card is my CSR, same as Craig. And the reason why is just as he said, it's useful for everything. But then at the same time, it's like I'll have my United card at least on me just in case if I want to buy something on the flight or in a club or something like that with United, so I can get my 25% statement credit back or whatever other free perk that I need off of it. Usually, I'll have my Amex Gold card that also has no foreign transaction fee. I'll have whatever hotel card I need for checking in. And so if I book through Chase Travel Portal, like the Edit, then I need my CSR. If I book through FHR, then I'll probably need my Platinum, unless I'm doing a Hilton or Marriott, because you can book FHR and check in with your Hilton or Marriott card instead of your Platinum when you do that. Well, travel hack alert for you guys right there that didn't know. You don't have to check in with your Amex Platinum if you have another Amex premium card of that nature for that specific hotel brand. And you still get all the Platinum card benefits, by the way, and the hotel card benefits, which is why I do it. That's basically about it. Because when I'm international, anything else hotel related that would be outside of one of those cards is covered by my CSR. Transportation, Metro, taxi, that's covered by my CSR. Dining is covered by my CSR. So yeah, I carry that one. It's Visa, so it's basically accepted everywhere. I know you've heard me say it. It's not International Express, it's American Express. The places I like to go, Amex isn't widely accepted, so I only carry one. But if you're in like the tourist areas, it's usually accepted. But those aren't my favorite areas to go to when I travel. So yeah, I keep in my wallet just that, but like I'll actually have other cards on me, especially like if it rolls over on the first of the month, then my Bilt card goes with me too, just because got to get those 5 taps.
Is it going to change now? The CSR doesn't have 3x travel?
Oh, you mean like on the transit category?
Yeah. Are you going to potentially put something else there because you don't have that option anymore?
Right now, no, because I don't have another option for transit. So I don't actually, for y'all that don't know, I don't own a Amex Green card. And that's the only other card that would be comparable for transit. It's just like, even as of right now, like I could, if it's international, I'm minus the foreign transaction fees. There's other cards that I could use that would get more points, but it's screw it. I'd rather just go simple and just get it over with. Old and trusty, don't keep it dusty type of scenario versus do I really need I probably got there on points. It's okay to take a break from points for a couple of days and just use the card that works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just curious, just because you mentioned the 3x, I wanted to know if it changes now.
Not yet, not until the 26th. I still have 20, as of tonight, 27, 28 more days. And I actually have some trips coming up where I can still get my 3X on transit before it goes away on October 26th. I was speaking more of present tense versus future tense. But hit me up on the 27th of October and we'll see if something changes. I just don't need another card. I really don't want the green card. Green card would make me get rid of Chase. Could make me get rid of Chase.
Real-time follow-up, your purple card comes with all other travel. And
oh yeah, that has transit on it too. Yeah.
I was going to ask, does Bilt travel not cover transit as well?
No, that does too. That's the it.
That was so flippant, Matt.
Hold on, wait a sec. Did transit count as travel with Bilt? Honest question, because I never used a transit category on my Bilt card.
No.
Okay. Like I've never used it for the subway in New York or for a taxi, or I've never used it for transit whatsoever. So that was a genuine question for me without having to look it up.
No, because they do 2x travel, but their 2x travel is like flights, hotels, cruises, rental cars, does not include transit.
Got it.
No. MasterCard's a little bit finicky with what is transit. It's not finicky with what is transit versus what is travel, but they didn't include a transit category on it because why would they?
Who needs it except for a third of the country?
Especially a third of the country that is like your core demographic. Anyway, this is not about the Bilt card. We got way more material about them coming in a couple weeks. RJ, what cards go with you?
I don't travel internationally, so I'm at an advantage that I can take Amex with me. I usually do carry at least one that is not Amex. My Apple card and my IHG card are my two non-Amex cards with the higher limits that I can take with me, and I know I could buy a small car on them and I would be good, so I'm not concerned about limits in that way. So I take one of them, usually the IHG, just because why not? I always take my Delta Reserve just in case of lounge issues. The Platinum goes with me because if I need to buy something and I want the protection, Platinum is where it's at. Whatever hotel I'm staying in, so Hilton, IHG. The IHG's card's coming anyway, so I'll throw the Hilton in there. And then my green card, because that does all of the things I wanted to do. I use my green card a lot when I travel, which is why I got it back, because I didn't have it for 3 months. And I went, oh, I don't like this. guess what? You're coming back to me. And I got the 40K sub on a card that I have held before, and I have held the gold and the platinum before, and they gave me the 40K sub. So you know what? Sometimes being impulsive and saying, I want this card back, get you 40,000 Amex points.
You know what? There's a lot of that going around on the green card.
Yeah.
Almost makes me want to try, but then I'm going to find out that they're going to give it to me. Then I'm going to be stuck with it.
But it's such a good little card.
Oh, it's a great card, especially if you rent cars, because you can still do
Yeah.
Amex's premium car rental insurance on there, and you'll get 3x for the rental,
Yeah.
which is, well, depending on how you want to look at it. I do that with my Hilton Aspire card.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the 7 Hilton points instead. So it just depends on how you're looking at it. So I don't feel bad that I don't have the green because I'm getting it over there. But for y'all that don't know, that's a sweet deal.
Yeah.
That's one of the best rental car deals in the game.
It
Oh
is.
yeah. I refuse
But-
to rent from Hertz or anything that's not national or enterprise now. So Hilton Aspire treats me well.
Hertz really likes to arrest people for returning cars, and their system doesn't capture that they returned the car. So there is that. Allegedly.
So yeah, you got to talk to a person. You need to talk to a
You want
person.
your phone recording that conversation. I need your name and your employee ID, please.
And a selfie.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Matt's red solo cupping tonight.
I am ADD drinking tonight. I've got Dr. Pepper Zero. I've got water. I had coffee earlier. Just doing the full ADD. So for me, what's in the wallet when I travel? Pretty simple. I'll have an airline card. I'm most likely traveling via JetBlue, so I will have my JetBlue business card on me for JetBlue related things. Beyond that, Sapphire Reserve is going to be in my wallet, and probably the Wells Fargo autograph will be in my wallet internationally. And then the other card internationally, which will just be the default to, I don't care, would be the Apple card. 2% cash back. Who cares? No fees, no foreign transaction fee, no nothing like that. I can always default to 2% cash back. Slap it in my high stuff for however much longer the Apple account exists, and just be content with that. Traveling domestically, I will, if I have a particular hotel, if I'm staying at a Hilton, I will use my Hilton card, obviously for the elevated Hilton earnings, things like that. But primarily, it's going to be Sapphire Reserve, a 2% card, and my Wells Fargo autograph just in case. So that 2% card in the US would probably be my active cash. Outside of the US is going to be my Apple card, because foreign transaction fees are a pain.
Genuine question. What? Because you have the free version of the Hilton card, right?
Yes.
Is it better for you to just use the CSR or never mind? Totally different points currency. Brain, not work.
9 out of 10 times I will default to the transferable currency because I like the flexibility and I always want the oh shit cash out. The oh shit cash out is my Linus blanket when it comes to points and miles.
Fair enough.
So thanks, Double. We're going to move to AP's questions. AP asks, credit cards, specifically welcome offers, points, promos, are widely seen as addicting. The ease in which you can gain highly valuable rewards has been documented in showing how we move from viewing financial transactions as a pain, handing over money, to a reward. From the look of a card, the weight of a card at all, many efforts are made by banks to alter your behavior and encourage overspending. Do you believe credit cards are addictive? If not, why not? If so, what efforts do you take to counterbalance this possible addiction of sorts? I will turn to RJ first on this question.
Sure. Turn to the person with a sociology degree. I'm kidding, Matt. Kidding.
Made sense.
It did. Are credit cards addicting? Sure. Are a lot of things addicting? Sure. Anything can be addicting. We are humans. Our brains love those chemicals. If something can make us feel good, we can be addicted by it. That's just how our brains work. That is the feedback loop that our brains have created. So yeah, it's addicting. If you are the type of person that gets addicted to that feedback loop, and anybody can, just almost anybody could become addicted to alcohol or whatever else, then yeah, absolutely. And it's not a moral judgment, it's just that's how the feedback loops in our brains work. That's how we are wired as humans. So can they? Yeah, they can. I don't have a great philosophical point there. The answer is, can they become addicting? Yes. Is it a guarantee they're going to become addicting? No. That is going to be based on a whole lot of factors. So, as far as counterbalance, I think it's the same thing as a lot of other things. It's having good personal financial hygiene, as it were, making sure your balance is paid off every month, making sure that you're not paying interest, making sure that you're not. One of the reasons that I downplay subs is because I think that the community at large pushes them so hard that if you're new to this and you're hitting sub after sub, you're just riding that high. You are not thinking, you're just like, I want this sub and this sub and this sub, and you're just getting that constant dopamine fix and you're gonna crash. So some amount of moderation is going to be necessary to basically just keep you level. So some of that is just having that view of things, having the financial sense and discipline to know what to do going in. So there's that. As far as other things, like some of it is the same thing as if you're not good with money, you're not good with money. It doesn't matter if it's addicting or not, right? If you don't know how to handle money, then you're gonna get in trouble with debit cards or a bank account or the jug of quarters under your bed, right? Some of this stuff has nothing to do with addicting. It's to do with lack of knowledge or lack of opportunity, which could be an entire podcast. Economic opportunity could be an entire podcast unto itself. So I think practicing good financial hygiene, understanding what you're getting into. That's another reason I preach about business cards not being the answer to everything. Matt and I just fixed everybody's credit card lineup on Thursday. Everybody should go watch that. We didn't talk about business cards because not everything should be about business cards because of reasons that we've explained on this podcast a couple times. So I don't like this is a nuanced topic. There is addictive properties to it. Is it a guarantee you're going to become addicted? No. There are people in our community, in our Discord, that hit 7, 8, 9 subs a year regularly. And they are fine because they are the people that I'm specifically talking about tend to be older, tend to have a more settled credit profile that they can get approved for those cards, that they have the spend for it. From at least our perspective, they seem to be well-adjusted individuals. They're not having major issues, again, that we know about. But that is a thing. It's not a guarantee, right? If somebody is predisposed to be an alcoholic and they have a drink and I have a drink, like I'm going to have a very different response to it than they will. If I'm predisposed to overspending, I'm going to have a very different relationship with credit cards than somebody else. So I understand what AP is getting to in this question, and I don't think he's wrong, but I also think a lot of it is just lack of knowledge, not necessarily addiction. It is you having to deal with choices where you don't have all of the information and then getting stuck in those cycles of poverty, as it were. It's not necessarily the addiction. It is things like impulse control, where it's not the credit cards. It's just you don't have the opportunity, so you're using this in a way that is not good. It's not you want to spend because you want to spend. It's my kid just broke his arm and then the water heater died and then this other thing happened and then there's a thing with my truck that's wrong. You get into those cycles too. And then Craig, I'm sorry I just named like 3 things that just happened to you. I really wasn't trying to use you as my example. You've just had everything happen to you lately. Um, but yeah, so it becomes this thing where some of it is addiction, some of it is just life. Like finances tend to tie in ways that other things don't, right? You can never not spend money. Like if you're an overspender, you've got to learn some moderation because you can't live in a world where you don't spend money. You've got to spend some form of currency, whether it's digital, whether it's physical. So that is a longer answer than I anticipated giving, but that is what I have on this topic.
No, that definitely makes sense. Lonnie, your thoughts here?
So there's a lot of layers to this particular cake. And before I even get to the addicting or not, I think when it comes to the sub aspect, I think it's a lack of information and sheep mentality that makes subs so popular because it's what everyone talks about. Don't get a card if you don't get a sub. But a lot of people don't realize you really only need maybe one credit card. And if you really wanted to get in points and miles, you can just buy the points and miles and it's cheaper. You usually can come out far ahead in the amount of points for less money than a sub. So most subs, I'm just going to use like Amex, where it could be easily $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, depending on what kind of card you got. I know Chase does a lot of 4,000s. You could actually just buy those hotel points or those airline points. You might not be able to buy Chase points, that is, but ultimately, once again, I'm just use sheep mentality. The majority of credit card YouTube says, don't use a travel portal, transfer them out, which means you're just transferring to whatever points currency. Ultimately, just go buy the airline points, just go buy the hotel points. And it's usually you can get more hotel or airline points than what you'll get in the sub for less money. So yes, I'm going to call that lack of information.
Yeah, especially when you're hitting those bonuses, like the 100% and all of that.
Oh, yeah. I think one of the hot ones right now with the Amex refresh, not to go off on a tangent, is, the business card. You can get 300,000 MR points for $20,000. I'm sorry, in Lonnie world, that math does not math for me. Like that $20,000 for even 300,000 points just does not make sense.
In 3 months.
Sorry. I'm sorry, it just does not. The math does not math. I can get 300,000 for less than $20,000 on all my other cards if you play your cards right. No pun intended, but pun intended. Now, going to the addicting part, can they be addicting? Absolutely, yes. Everyone has a option to become addicted to something. And I won't even go as far as addicted. Let's just say enthused or passionate about something. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because I myself am Buddhist. I've been practicing Buddhism for over 20 years. I've spent a very long time to remove vices and addictions from my life. So I don't consider myself addicted to anything. But there are things that I'm passionate and I love enjoying. You've heard me even talk about Lego. Why am I addicted to it? No. But does it bring me joy? Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that. So depending on the person, I won't necessarily say that sub hunting is addicting. It can be, depending on the person, but to others, it could just bring them joy. And go ahead and let them have their joy. Now, do you have to be addicted to it? Absolutely not. There are ways around that, as I just explained, but do banks encourage overspending? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's their business. it's the foundation of their business is to get you to spend money on those cards. They get money every possible way once you hit that apply button. Hitting the apply button and getting denied, they still get money because now you are a number that says we accepted X percent and we rejected Y percent, which they can go sell to someone and be like, we're exclusive. Let me show you why. You're a number at that point on a stat sheet. So that can help them get paid. Get your sub, and then you don't use it. Going back to a lot of the business card stuff, people are like, oh, let's go get, Marriott's a great one. Is get the Brilliant card and get your 25 night credits, and then go spend another 150 for their business card so you can get another 15 so you can get closer to titanium. You'll never use a business card. It does nothing for you. But you're still paying an annual fee on it. So they're getting paid. They're getting paid on that annual fee. So that bank is still making money. They are doing partnerships in that scenario with Marriott. So Marriott is paying them for that co-branded partnership. You're getting money. Or any other type of co-brand, Hotel Air, whatever type of card it is. Now they can say that they have so many card holders for X card, which helps their stock price. So they're getting money. You count as an additional card holder. So now they can easily say, we increased our card applications, our card holders 6% year over year to someone, to a partner like a hotel or airline. Another way that they can get money. And the most lucrative way they get money, interest is a business. We all ain't paying on time. And 29% is 29%. Interest is also a business. So are they going to encourage overspending? Absolutely. Are they going to encourage spending? Yeah. Are they going to make it like sound as sweet as possible for you to hit the apply button? That's just good marketing or bad marketing, depending on if you hit that apply button or not. Why do you think they send you ads and emails and stuff in the snail mail? Why are we still using USPS? That is for your local grocery store to tell you that what's on sale on Fridays. But no, they'll still send you something in the mail to whatever way they can to entice you to hit that apply button. They'll do it because they want you to have their card and they want you to spend on it. But just having the card, they make money. The second you have the card, they already made money off of you. So last but not least, I will end it with, if you're going to go stick on the addiction topic, addiction is awareness for each individual person, not from the outside, from the inside. And I will always like to say it comes back. If you have that friend and you tell them that they're addicted and their response is, I can stop whenever they want, that friend's probably addicted. I can stop whenever I want. Then do it. And if that's the one line that usually most addicts use. That's what I'm saying. We can go look up the stats. If I say you're addicted to something, what's the number one response that you're actually probably addicted? I can stop whenever I want. It's somewhere on the internet. I guarantee it. You see what I'm getting at. But
100 members of the audience surveyed. Number one answer on the board.
I will say we now have a channel in the Discord called Amex Anonymous, so maybe you're onto something there.
But yeah, can it be addicting? Absolutely. That just depends on the person, their whatever state that they're in, whatever. I'm not a doctor. I'm a guy on the internet. So I'm just going to leave it at that one. But it's a choice. Once again, I'm not a doctor. I'm a guy on the internet. So take it's a choice with a grain of salt.
No, that definitely all checks out. Other ways they can make money off you. If you're not paying interest, but you're moving your balances around so that you avoid interest because you're not going to make it this month, or you haven't been making it and you've been paying that interest, balance transfer fees. That 5% can add up quick, or that 3%, depending on which bank it is, depending on how long your balance transfer is, all of that. 3% is usually better than 5%, but I would rather pay a 5% balance transfer fee than 20+% interest all day, every day. But they're still making money on you. But Craig, your thoughts here?
My co-hosts have been like super on the point here, and so I'm really not going to add much. I will say I work with, not personally, but have to support individuals that in my professional life that work with individuals with addiction. Addiction is a disease. Some people are more predisposed to it than others. I don't find credit cards to be an addiction for me. I find them to be a hobby and a tool just for cheaper travel because no travel is free. I think we do have a very FOMO kind of conversation around credit cards in the credit card community. And that comes from all levels, whether you're looking at some of the bigger podcasts, whether you're looking at individual creators. I think that there's this constant push of, I have to be the first one out and let you know that this is the most amazing card in the world. Like, how many people do you think, and we'll talk about this later on in the podcast, but how many people do you think got an American Express Platinum card and saw themselves hit an 80 to 150,000 point bonus and thought, wow, I need that dopamine hit right now again? I think that there's just some conversation, and that's why I do appreciate, and I rib her sometimes about this in the Discord, but I do appreciate RJ's propensity to be more risk averse in how we discuss business cards and subs. Because I do think that if you are someone that either is A, still learning the finance portion of this game, because, and let's be like very real, these are still financial tools. They are meant to help you, but we'll oftentimes find ourselves in grave ruin, right? So I don't necessarily think that they are a full-on, full-blown addiction for everyone, but I think that they are a slippery slope when we talk about and discuss subs and the allure of travel, because no one wants to miss out and everyone wants to say that, hey, I'm the person that's doing this. And think about why a third of the country is car poor right now. It's because everybody has a big, dumb, stupid Yukon Denali truck. And it's an addiction to have the idea of wealth or the perception of it. And I think we find ourselves in that vicious cycle. But that's it for me.
No, said, following up on my co-host, when it comes to hitting the dopamine hits, if you cannot go a month and you're not actively looking to travel, like, it's one thing to have a set goal and say, for this dream trip that I'm trying to put together, and I want to do it as much on points as possible, and we're going to go to this exotic location where you're going to fly the most baller first class that we can fly to that location. We need 890 to 1.2 million points. 890,000 to 1.2 million points, right? Now, if your objective is 1.2 million points and you've got to hit let's say 8 welcome offers to do that, and you have to do those applications and ride that ride and get to that number. Good person on this that I can think of is Jordan Rules of Credit, right? Jordan's work, like Jordan's whole theory of the case for himself right now is he and his fiance are booking like this wild wedding and honeymoon extravaganza. All right, their objective is to gain as many points as they can to make that happen. They have a set plan, right? If you have that set plan and you're working backwards from that plan, and that requires 8, 9 welcome offers, cool. After that 9th welcome offer, you're probably going to hit the skids. You're gonna relax. You're going to, whether we call it gardening, whether we call it chilling out, or we could just call it stopping for the moment, you can do that. It's the folks who have no objective and, oh, I need 50,000 American Airlines miles. What are you doing with them? You know what? Don't know yet. Just need them. I'll come back to you. And they hit the 50,000 American miles, and then they see another welcome offer of 80,000 American Airlines miles. And it's really quick to hit that sub too. What are you doing with these miles? Don't know yet. I'll come back to you. And then they have to do the Chase Inc. welcome offers because they're back to 90,000 points and they need 90,000 ultimate reward points. Okay, but what are you doing with those ultimate reward points? Don't know yet. I'll come back to you. So when you don't have that objective, that's where it gets a little hesitant. It's a little scary from my end. If your points have a purpose, great. Hit as many welcome offers as you need to do to get to hit that objective. If your points have no purpose and you didn't sign up for a card accidentally on a dare because I blatantly said Barclays is just giving this card out like candy, and you tried to challenge me on that and you just happened to get the card, cool. RJ, you're not included in this specifically. But if you don't have the objective, right, for the points, and it's just, I need to acquire as many points in as many ecosystems as possible, that might be a problem. And you might want to ask yourself, what am I going to do with these points? I have accumulated several hundreds of thousands of points across many ecosystems. What am I doing with them? If you can't answer that, this probably isn't a game you want to play, because you spent how many thousands to do that?
I'll also add, these are also the first people to be like, oh, Hilton just had a devaluation. Oh, Marriott just bonvoyed themselves again. I'm like, if you weren't using your points, you're mad because, well, really, what are you mad at? You weren't using them anyway, and now they're devalued. There's always a devaluation coming at all times, people. You just never know. It's like rain. Like rain in Florida. You just don't, it's coming. You just don't know when it's coming. I will also add, because Matt, this is now probably the third time in the month of September a fellow creator has brought up I'm not dropping names, but the people in this community that preach travel points and miles and then don't take any trips. I'm sorry, that math doesn't math to me either. If you're gonna educate and inform people of how to do it, shouldn't you also at least be doing it? I'm going to have my little 2 cents there. I don't care how you do it. Craig and I talk about business travel. Half my travel every year, about 45% of my travel every year is business travel. Great. I'm open about it. I'm very flat out, and I will admit I get a lot of points and miles from work travel. And then I turn around and use them for personal travel as well. But I also have a personal travel strategy to enhance all of that. So I'm not going to put myself in there, but heck, I'm going to miss next week's episode. Why? Because I'm traveling. Is it next week? I think it's next week. No, it's the week after next.
Week after
I will be here next week.
Craig's gone next week. You're gone the week after.
Whatever. I don't know what day it is because fatherhood right now, but...
Third day is coming.
Look, I have 3 family birthdays and a parent's anniversary all within a couple of days. So I know it's not October yet, but that's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
But anyway, all I'm saying is you also need to take stuff with a grain of salt. Take what I say with a grain of salt. I can talk about my experiences all the time, but that does not mean that you'll get the exact same experience. So you should even take this stuff that I say, this stuff that I can prove I actually hop on a plane and stamp the passport for. It's not going to be your same experience. So take it with a grain of salt as well. But at least I am not talking about something that I am not doing. So I always would say be cautious about that. But I'm only bringing it up because, like I said, I've had other creators, people that follow this channel have probably heard them talk about it recently. But now that Matt's bringing it up, I wanted to bring light to it as well.
Yeah. No, if you're not going to take a trip, that's fine. Just be honest with yourself. Don't make the approach of, I need points in an ecosystem that make no sense to me. If you don't have a plan for American Airlines miles, go after city points. Because you know what you can do with those city points? Turn them into American points when you have an objective that includes American Airlines. If you don't need Alaska miles, you know what you should do? Go after Bilt points. Maybe not so much Bilt points, but Bilt is a transfer partner to Alaska Airlines. I don't know how often Alaska does sell their miles. Doesn't matter. You don't have that plan with United. You don't have that trip planned with United. You know, you should go after Chase points. Chase transfers over to United. If you don't have a plan, you don't have an idea. I will say, if you want to go chase after the welcome offer dragon, cool. But at least give yourself the security of a transferable currency, especially when you can transfer back to yourself at 1 cent per point, so that you at least have the Linus blanket of 1 cent per point. But you also shouldn't be chasing that dragon if you don't have a plan to use those points.
Matt, can we just sum this up with one of my favorite point lines and rules? And that, hold on, let me take it out of my back pocket, the right side. I'm saving the left side, that left booty cheek for someone special, is your points should have a purpose and, say it with me now, an exit strategy.
Yes.
You should
Getting on
earn
the
them with a
on-ramp.
purpose. You should redeem them with an exit strategy. And you do need both. And it's not that you need to have both right now. If you're just accumulating them, so let's say you don't have a trip plan, but you already have the cards and you're definitely going to earn those points on some card, at least you have an exit strategy of how I can get rid of them. Matt, you just gave a great example of get the transferable ones that can go to multiple places. So I do exactly that. I might switch to start earning a bunch of Chase points because I can take my Chase to my Marriott, I can transfer them out to United or whatever. But everything has an exit strategy. And of course, I pick my partner, so I know exactly what partners I will transfer them to when I need to. So
Yes.
in short, sum it all up with your points should have a purpose and an exit strategy.
Yeah. As for the look, feel, weight, whatever of a card, the efforts that the banks do, very few banks are actually successful at selling you on the look, feel, and weight of a card. There's one bank or one issuer that's really successful at doing it. The other banks try and fail. I'm just going to leave it there, in my opinion. But I think y'all can guess. All right. So thanks, AP, for that. Let's move to our next question. We've got a double feature. Double Animal Fries asks, if your local airport is a hub for a specific airline, how does that factor your recommendations re picking airline partners? Is it usually a yes that this should be one of your partners, or does it depend? If it depends, what does it depend on? So I'll start this off first. I live in an area where I happen to be near two of the largest hub, three if you count LaGuardia, but JFK and Newark are both hubs for various airlines. JFK is the international hub for Delta in New York City. LaGuardia is their domestic hub in New York City, and Newark is United. JFK is American Airlines as well. So for me, I'll be answering this a little bit differently, and I'll start. Does it being a hub factor into your recommendations? Yes and no. Now, I'm not in a place where it's only one of the big three. I have all three of the big three in an hour and a half commute from where I live. And if I am choosing United, I'm going to prioritize United, the fact that Newark is the hub for United, yes, that's going to steer my recommendations if I'm picking United. Now, if I'm telling somebody what they want to do, I'm going to frame the question as, which airline do you prefer of the big three in my specific area? You prefer United, you might want to look at these cards, and you're going to be looking at flying out of Newark the most. United flies out of LaGuardia, but you're starting your flight in LaGuardia and you're going to a United hub. You don't want to live that life if you don't have to. Sorry, RJ. Or Craig. Because I know Indianapolis or wherever else you have to fly out of, your choices get a little limited. So if they prefer American, all right, you're going to be flying out of JFK. Maybe you want to start at the city ecosystem. Do you like the American hard product? If you don't like the hard product of the airline that is the hub of your if a specific airline is a hub in where you live and you don't like that hard product, it doesn't make sense to further invest in that hard product. If you don't like the service, you don't like the hard product, you don't like dealing with whatever rules the airline has, you've had terrible experiences, it doesn't make sense to go down like an American Airlines rabbit hole if you've flown American Airlines numerous times, and every time you've flown American Airlines, you have wanted to get off the plane and punch a kitten. If that is your feeling flying American Airlines, don't invest in American Airlines. If you get off like a Delta flight and you just want to squeeze a puppy until you realize that, anyway, you want to squeeze a puppy out of love because you love that product so much, cool, invest in Delta. If your local airport is a hub for a specific airline and you've had nothing but bad experiences with that airline, don't invest in that airline. Look at what other airlines you have available to you. You might have to fly Frontier to do a point to point to another hub that works better for you for your chosen airline. Is that the way you want to fly? Not necessarily, but if that's what you're going to do because you want to avoid the hub airline, hey, whatever helps. I took that to some pretty extremes. I'm sorry. Craig, as someone who has more of the hub or secondary city, how would you be approaching this?
Yeah. So one, I just want to point out, I'm allergic to cats, so I wouldn't mind punching a kitten. Just putting that out there. But what I will
Craig does
say,
not speak for all of us.
We went from ostentatious to silly to makes you want to punch a cat.
Not even a cat, a kitten. A
Yeah.
little baby one.
the worst part is my wife loves cats, so we are probably going to get a cat at some point. Neither here nor there.
Fun fact, you
I-
can actually become de-allergic to a specific cat through exposure therapy.
I will keep that in mind. But I digress. I have no problems with cats, just to be very clear. They are wonderful animals. I appreciate that they want to love you and then go away. I like that. But I will say this. So I am flying out of Indianapolis mostly. I will say going to any major city, it's pretty much a direct flight for the most part, right? It depends on what airline you want to fly. To Matt's point, if you hate a product, don't put yourself through that. Even if it's cheaper, just do what is going to make you happy. I will say, I think if you live in, so for example, if you live in Atlanta, you are hard pressed to not have Delta as one of your airline partners. It is possible, but the amount of pain that you are going to deal with in CRJs you are going to fly is going to be rough, right? Say you want to fly American out of Atlanta, you're going straight to Charlotte or DFW, and you're either going to be on a CRJ 900 or an E175 is not a bad plane. Give you that. But more than likely, the likelihood of you being on a Canadian jet, regional jet, pretty high. I think it really depends, and I think it also depends on the other accoutrements that come along with it. In Indianapolis, yeah, you can be a free agent and just pick whatever the cheapest flight is. You can get Spirit, you can get Frontier, Alaska, AA, United, Southwest, Delta. But what I will say is the only airline lounge in the entire airport is a Delta Sky Club, and a pretty nice one, right? So if you want to get to the airport an hour early, grab a quick cup of coffee, go for it, right? Or if you value, hey, I value points value, right? And this is my issue with AA. People love AA miles, but don't utilize the product, but then also don't travel. And so somebody says, I've got 300,000 AA miles as if it's supposed to be a flex somehow. And it's okay, good for you. What are you doing with that? You going to Charlotte, Dallas? No? Are you going anywhere that's not an AA hub, or are you trying to go to Japan? And if so, there are better ways to do that. I really think it depends on where do you want to go? How often do you want to go? Is status at all important to you? Because, and when I say that, I think status is more helpful if you have either a volume of flights or if you have very expensive monetary flights coming up, right? Having American Airlines Gold status or Delta Silver status or United Silver isn't really going to do much for you outside of the free check bag. I know somebody in these comments will say, no, I've actually been upgraded 87 times for 37 flights. I love that for you. That's awesome. Let me assure you, I've had either upper or pretty mid status for most airlines. It's not that big of a deal, right? Like you'll get an upgrade sometimes you won't. The biggest feature for me is that I can get extra legroom seats if there's already fully booked up, right? Like I would prefer to fly first class, but if I'm not going to get an upgrade or I just booked too late and first class seats are all booked up and this is just the exact time that I have to go someplace, I better get at least some extra leg room. I think that's the dependent part. And if that's what's valuable to you, I would say Delta's hard pressed. You got to get the second highest Delta status to get that. Now it's awesome getting there. You get a few thousand Starbucks miles or Starbucks stars. Is that what they are? Stars? Whatever it is. And there's other really great milestones, but I think you have to look at it holistically and ask yourself, do I care about value? Do I care about comfort? And then where do I want to go? And how often am I going? I think those are the four questions that you need to ask because, again, to Matt's point, if you hate flying Spirit or, excuse me, Frontier, but you're in Denver and you say, I hate United, you don't have a lot of other choices. All right. If you're in Denver, either you're flying United, Frontier, or Southwest, and those are your options. Otherwise, you are going to be a unhappy camper, at least if you're over 5'5". So yeah, I think it's important, but I think with most of these questions, and I hate to be this guy, but it depends, right? So much of this depends. RJ loves Delta, and for very rightly, but if RJ had to deal with what I deal with, which is I'm connecting in Detroit on a CRJ 700 every single time I fly out for work, I don't think RJ would be on board to be on Delta, a Delta
I love
girly
a
right now.
CRJ. Give me a 3-seat row so I am all by myself. I am 5'8", sir. I am happy with the CRJ.
Are you serious? I've been in the CRJ 500. That first class isn't even a first class seat.
I usually have the 900 out of my home airport, but
Oh, see,
give
we
me
don't get
a
nice.
3-seat row. I'm happy. I am mad that I'm in a 2x2 to go to Denver from Detroit on my next trip because I wanted to be by myself. I don't want to sit next to somebody.
Yeah,
Does
somebody can
anybody,
fact check me, but
it,
500s and
well,
700s.
first off, that United economy free and United economy plus seat comes in clutch for your specific scenario. But does anyone else get the ick when you get on a plane like a CRJ and it doesn't have a TV screen? I get
Yeah.
the ick. Like, it, I've been so normalized with a screen that if I get on a flight, even a United flight, and I know United's going through every seat will have a screen right now. So there's a lot more planes with TVs. But if I get on a flight and it doesn't have a screen, I'm like, is this all y'all got in the hangar?
Where's the real plane?
No, I agree with that.
This
And
is
then
why
you
airline Wi-Fi
immediately,
comes in clutch.
yeah, then you immediately start trying to download movies because this is about to be a long flight.
I buy the
Yeah.
higher storage iPads just so I can download all of the things.
Yeah, I didn't do that. And I passed my 14 days. I thought about that on like day 15. I was like, you know what? I should have just went up a storage size.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
got get you a nice T9 hard drive. Throw that bad boy on there. It's
oh,
like
I got my
magic.
portable. I got plenty of portables. Don't worry.
But yeah, I am done, Matt. I will hand it back. All of this to say, it depends. And also, don't overvalue status.
That's fair.
You
Also,
have 1K or AA executive platinum. Those are awesome.
good to know. The terror that is the CRJ will probably be completely out of service in about 20 years because the last ones were delivered in 2021. The last production CRJs were delivered in 2021. So
But why? Who did this? Why, Canada?
you realize Canada is the reason we have the Geneva Conventions, right?
It's amazing that these planes can like literally be in the air longer than they're on the ground their entire lifespan. And yet we can't get our cars to last half as long.
Right?
I don't know. I got a 2011 Ford Edge that's creeping up on 300,000 miles.
Good for you. Good for you.
Things get, it's nowhere close to bailing wire and spit, but man. Anyway, RJ, your thoughts here.
I hate to say the word it depends, but it depends on where you're flying. If you're, say you're Craig, right? And you're flying to Philly all the time. And it's, say you, in this scenario, you're in a hub for an airline and they do fly to Philly, but there's another airline that also flies to Philly and it's a more convenient time for whatever reason. Does it matter if you're a hub or not if they have the flight you want at the time you want? No. Some of it is going to depend on where you're flying. Like, I fly to LaGuardia, Atlanta, or Detroit. Every flight I am ever going to be in on a plane, I am flying to one of those 3 cities. Guess what? I can get to anywhere in the country on those 3 cities, right? Anywhere I want to go, I'm going, I'm good. So for Delta, I'm set. Like, I'm good. I don't live in a hub. If anything, Southwest has like a quarter of all the flights out of my regional airport. So technically they would be the biggest, but ain't nobody making my airport a hub. But some of it is going to depend on you. If you're in Atlanta and for some reason you want United because you fly up to Charlotte all the time, like maybe that works for you, right? Like maybe it does. Maybe if you're in Denver and you really want Delta because they fly wherever you want to go at the most convenient time and you have to fly there 3 times a month, then maybe that works for you. Maybe your company has a deal with somebody, and guess what? It doesn't matter if it's a hub or not. That's the best option for you because then you can use those AA miles to do whatever you want, like Craig. Or you have a high status because of work, right? Like a hub can guide you, but ultimately there are other factors than are you in a hub or not. Now, it might benefit you, right? If you can make it work in a way that doesn't disproportionately disadvantage you just because it's a hub, then go for it. But you have to look at the whole picture. You can't just say, oh, I'm 20 minutes from Newark, I must fly United. Like, it is not a preordained destiny that you have to. It might make certain things easier, but if you really wanted to AA out of Newark, by Jove, you could do it. You could. You just have to decide what you want and see what mashes up the most. The hub is probably going to mash up the most, but it might not. You still have to take a look, see what you're doing. Maybe there's so many flights to Atlanta. It's 6 a.m. from my airport. And then there's a flight at 9. Like, if that flight at 9 is the best thing that I see in a day when I book flights, right? Because I don't want to be up at 6 a.m. So sometimes you have to look at little things like that, right? Or personal versus business. If it's business, you might want those 6 a.m. flights. If it's personal, you might want that noon flight. It really is, you have to look at all the factors, I guess, is my ultimate point. It's not quite hub must do. Not quite that simple.
That makes sense. Lonnie, your thoughts here?
I'm not going to say Craig stole my thunder, but he literally said almost everything that I was going to say. So I don't have too much more, but I will add my little 2 cents. Take the airline that gets you to where you want to go to most often. Doesn't matter, like RJ said, doesn't matter if it's a hub or not. Whatever airline that can get you to where you want to go the most often, that should probably be your airline. And in most cases, yes, I understand there are some more remote places in the US that are not like around the island of Manhattan where you have every single option. You might only have that one airport, and the next closest airport is a 4-mile drive. If you're down for the drive, go for the drive. Who am I to tell you to go for the drive? That's up to you. I'm not doing it, but you can. Knock yourself out. Even hub airports also have other airlines in them. So this goes back to Craig's point and RJ's point of you might end up with a connection. Craig and I are Chicagoans. ORD has Delta. You can fly to Chicago O'Hare on Delta and American, even though it's literally where United headquarters is. It is the United hub. Used to be the largest airport in the world at one point, most busiest airport in the world for a very long time, and then some other airports came in later. We don't need to get into that, but Same thing. You go to San Francisco, LAX, Denver. These are all United hubs. You can fly American, you can fly Delta and get to and from them, and some other airlines as well. I would say like some of the smaller ones. I know we brought up Frontier and like Southwest, but in Chicago, you probably have to switch over to Midway. You're still in Chicago though. You're actually in Chicago, not in Rosemont, where the Chicago airport's actually not in Chicago. Midway is, but O'Hare is not. Small semantics, technicality. And
Chicagoland is also big.
It is. It's like in New York.
Yeah.
But
Chicagoland and the tri-state area are roughly the same sort of thing, where Chicagoland is like a third of Illinois.
I said technically and semantics, Matt.
Okay.
It's technically.
If CTA goes there, I'll forgive it.
Atlanta. You can also fly United and American to the Atlanta airport, even though that is the Delta hub. Now, granted, 50% of the airport is Delta, and the other 50% is everybody else. North side, south side. Which side are you on? And they let you know the difference when you're there. But I say all that because it comes down to convenience. I basically only fly United. It is my preferred airline for a multitude of reasons. I have flown to Atlanta on United. I don't think I've ever flown nonstop to Atlanta on United. I think I've connected every single time, no matter where. You can go from New York to Atlanta, and you're probably going to connect in Chicago, to be completely honest. But it comes down to convenience when you think of that hub airport. And once again, could I fly from New York to Atlanta on Delta nonstop in a couple of, like in an hour or two? Yeah. But then I don't get the perks and the benefits and the customer service because I don't have status with Delta. See what I'm saying? So going back to what Craig said, there is a level of convenience as well. And at the same time, I also look at it on going back to points, as Matt and I recently discussed, purpose and an exit strategy. Great. I just earned a couple of Delta miles. What am I going to do with them? If it's not going to kill me to take the connection, I'll take the connection, get the United miles, because I actually know I can use them later. So it all comes down to a choice. So I don't want to be the third person to say it depends, but I will be the first to say it's just about choice. What's important to you? What's convenient to you? If you don't mind taking the connection or add an extra couple of hours, maybe an hour, maybe two, maybe three. If you go through Chicago, you have a 51-minute connection. I'm just calling it what it is. I hope you can run. By the time your flight lands, your next plane's boarding. That's Chicago for you. If you want that path. And if you don't, then it's a 3-hour layover. But Craig, tell me I'm wrong. Anyway. But if that
clubs in ORD though, just saying, the United and AA clubs, top tier.
You can't get United Club. You're not flying United no more. You got to have that United boarding pass now. You can't just buy in anymore. But it's about that convenience. So if you don't mind taking that connection, like sometimes I don't mind taking that connection. So when I have a business trip says go to Atlanta, I'll say book me on United. You're going to connect to Houston. I can use those miles later. So I'll take it. And I'm on a business trip. So it's just getting paid. More time getting paid, walking around the airport. And Houston ain't that bad. Expensive, not that bad. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there because at this point, I'm just repeating what my co-hosts have said. But it's a choice.
Anyway, our last question comes from Kirby G. He asks, other than credit card YouTubers, what kind of content do you consume on YouTube? So a nice little fun question here at the end. Lonnie, I have an idea, but what besides tech, what else are you consuming?
I actually have a couple of different things. First would be tech, of course. MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee is my favorite YouTube creator, always has been. So I'm usually paying attention to him as a tech guy and as a great representation of the community. Absolutely love the guy. I think he's awesome. Outside of that, I actually like other finance style channels where it's more of, I don't want to call them like reaction, but it's also like we told you so type of channels. So there's the one guy called Zach Rios, and there's another one. Crap, I can't think of his name right now. Let me look it up. But he is quite funny, and I actually enjoy it. He has like his own little niche or whatnot. Let me see if I can find him while I'm looking this up. Other than that, when I walk my dog, I listen to Ray William Johnson, who talks about all these different like crimes and things. He has a crime podcast. So like different crimes, different things that happen. Orlando Minor, that's who I'm talking about. So he does mortgage, but he also does like very similar like reaction stuff to what happens, like people making bad financial decisions on like YouTube. I bought a car with negative equity and rolled that into another and then take a payday loan. And so it's just entertaining and learn from other people's mistakes, folks. But it's just to hear the extreme of what some people do, as Craig mentioned earlier, to get a BMW or a Hellcat. I'm just like, are you serious? Yeah, you put yourself you took a payday loan and a personal loan for the down payment for a Hellcat.
That's not a good idea.
It's not, but that's why I don't know why I love listening to it while I walk my dog, but I just do. Okay, I just like listening to them. So Orlando Minor, Ray William Johnson, and yeah, those are probably the main things that I listen to on YouTube outside of the credit card community. Yeah, so if I'm not listening to one of them, when I walk out the door with leash in hand, I usually see Matt has posted another video, and I usually jump to one of those first, which is unfortunately why you also don't see me leave comments all the time, because I'm walking my dog. So I'm not like on my phone, but I do listen to him, and Matt and I have conversations about him later, so he knows. Support the channel. But yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Yeah, just hit the hype button if you have the second. If you're on your phone, just hit the hype button.
I don't want to drop my phone or anything, any of that nature, because like I usually have my dog's training remote. I still use that as a communication device, even though he's fully trained. And I have, of course, my leash. So I usually literally do not have a phone in my hand. And then after a certain part of the walk, I have a poop bag. And I don't want to touch my phone after touching that until I wash my hands, even though it's in a bag. Sorry. I hit play. When I walk out the house, it goes in the pocket, and it basically stays there until I get home and wash my hands.
That's fine. After the walk. Anyway, I'm really pushing this hype button hard. I have no idea why. Craig, what else are you watching or listening to on YouTube when not consuming credit card content?
Yeah, so similar to Lonnie, love MKBHD. I've been watching since he was still doing videos in his like dorm room, because we're roughly the same age, and so
he's been doing this since 13.
Yeah, no, yeah,
that's
right,
why
like,
he's so good at it. Lots of practice.
And he decided to become an ultimate frisbee player and win like world titles because YouTube wasn't enough.
He's a really good golfer too. Not like he's like semi-pro, like amateur level or whatnot, amateur pro level, whatever you call it. He's actually really good at golf too.
Which is much harder than people think. The best golf I've ever shot was like a 92. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then you see people in the professionals that are shooting like a 50 to a 60. And I was like, oh, I will never get there. But for me, fun fact, love horror. Like horror movies, horror genre, media of all kinds. And my favorite horror channel is Did Meet with James A. Janice. They do kill counts, things of that nature. I'm a big gamer, so I love RPGs of all kinds, particularly Pokemon, Fallout, Mass Effect. Currently, I am replaying Knights of the Old Republic for the first time, but had that game when it first came out, and I was like 12 or 10, somewhere around there. Had no idea how to actually play the game, and I am going through and doing that. A lot of modding, a lot of PC gaming. recently, I've gotten more into just listening to like some more finance YouTube as well. I plan on retiring by the time I'm 55, hopefully, fingers crossed, barring any huge catastrophic events in my life. And I don't mean to that I'm going to retire because, oh, I'm doing so absolutely well, but like I don't plan on changing my life super extravagantly. I want to pay my house off, probably get a Toyota Corolla or something a little bit nicer, pay it off, and then travel the world. Now, I will say the one car that I will have, because although I'm not a super duper car guy, I do want a 64 Pontiac GTO, black with a yellow canary inside, or green leather, one of those two. And that will be my like project car. And so I do just watch some restoration videos just so I can learn how to do some of that stuff. And yeah, so I'm all over the place. I've got such an eclectic algorithm for my YouTube that if you saw it, you'd be like, what is this? So it's hard for me to name all the creators, but did meet Roanoke, some of those are my favorites that I watch. So yeah,
Good to know. I might have you beat on the what is your algorithm and why.
yeah. This
Um,
is the tip of the Craig iceberg. I don't want to get too far down, and you are like, yeah, you can't be here anymore.
oh, we could start doing some members only iceberg videos if we can put together an hour of content. Members, let us know.
I don't think an hour of content is a problem for any of us, Matt. We are a chatty bunch.
Certified yappers.
Yes. RJ, other than credit card YouTubers, what kind of content do you consume on YouTube?
I actually pulled up my YouTube subscriptions because it is very eclectic. I watch a lot of sports content, so Tom Grossi, Brandon Perna, clickbait, a couple of women who do sports, like sports comedy. Annie Agar is very funny and also a Packers fan, which is delightful to me. And then stuff like Binging with Babish, and then EDC stuff, Best Damn EDC, Nick Shabazz, stuff like that. And then coffee, so James Hoffman, because coffee. I'm also going to say the easy one, MKBHD, because I have also been watching him for a very long time. So I feel like that is the most ubiquitous, like that is the easiest slam dunk if you like tech, is just watching him. And also Mr. Mobile, because he is the type of hipster that I find delightful and not annoying, which is helpful because there are a lot of them in the tech space. And then I watch things like Mark Ellis reviews. Lost in the Pond is very funny. It's a British guy who lives in the US now, and he just talks about the differences between the countries, and it is very fun. And then like Long Island Watch, One More Watch, things like that, because I am a watch nerd and I enjoy that. But I am all over the place. I'll watch Eons, which is about like different times in like history of the planet. So they'll talk about like the time it rained for 2 million years and all of that stuff, which I find very fascinating. If it's a long form piece of content that is like history or science or nerdy, I will probably watch it. Like I am unabashedly a fan of watching that stuff. I will probably play football on my Switch while I watch it, but I will absorb it. And then for podcasts, shout out to ATP because we quote it all the time, so we should probably shout it out, even though it's not really YouTube.
Yeah.
But and then everything on, oh, now I'm blanking on the network. Cortex and, oh God,
It's not 5x5. It's the other one.
and I can't think about it. And my phone is my camera, so I can't look it up.
It's Mike
Uh,
Hurley.
yes, it is Mike Hurley, and I cannot. It's Stephen Hackett and Mike Hurley, and I cannot think of the network, but that one. I listen to quite a few of their podcasts.
Most critical?
No. Hypercritical is a podcast, but it is
Yes.
not the one I am thinking of. Hold on, because I can do it this way.
Upgrade is on there. It's Marco and Mike and Steven and all those other guys. I know the
Relay
network.
FM. Relay
Yes.
FM. My gosh. I've listened to so many of their podcasts and it just blanked as I had to remember it. But yeah, I listen to a lot of their stuff. It's tech. It's good tech, and it's people who take it seriously in the way that sort of we do, in terms of just like it and talk about it. So I enjoy all of that.
Yeah. I have moved away from, just because I do not have time for podcasts in my life at this point, but I was a religious This Week in Tech network listener.
Yeah.
Windows Weekly was a bag. This Week in Tech was a bag. The Google show was turned into like an AI show or whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. As I alluded, my algorithm just looks at me and is terrified because it depends on what I'm feeling or what rabbit holes I'm going down. No, I'm not on any spectrums. But if it's airline disasters, Disaster Breakdown and Mentor Now are great places to go for that. If it is crime, horror, not horror, but like crime and anything associated with that, Cadaver, Nick Crowley, Nexpo. What was I watching not too long before? Oh, Lazy Chill True Crime, Lazy Chill History. I don't know how that man sleeps, because he's got 5 channels running at any given time. With regard to sports, I will listen to SDPN, so the Steve Dangle podcast, and the Chris Johnson show. If I want just straight hockey news, I go to Chris Johnston. If I want to watch Steve lose his mind about the latest Maple Leafs loss, I will watch Dangle's channel. Really fun that are. Grossi and Perna kind of keep me at an arm's length of the NFL, just so I have an idea of what's going on. So I can make references to what's going on in season. I'm making those references because I'm watching Grossi and Perna. Or Benchwarmer Brand, but he does shorts. He doesn't do long forms. The cooking stuff, I watch a lot of cooking stuff for just let my brain turn off. Adam Ragusea is really good for that if you want like a technical side of cooking. I was introduced to Adam Ragusea through the Greatest Generation podcast because he redid the music for them, and turned out he became a food YouTuber. But other food YouTubers, Sip and Feast is really good. He does a nice technical breakdown of all of his recipes. Obviously, Chef John from foodwishes.com, from Food Wishes. Tasting History with Max Miller is also really good. It brings in history and food, 2 things I very much. I will also watch James Hoffman from time to time. I am just all over the place, honestly. You know what? If you really want to get into what channels I watch at any given time, just reach out to me on the Discord, because I've given you several different channels in all areas of YouTube.
That's the joy of YouTube, is it literally changes almost every month. Your preference changes. And if you have a toddler, your algorithm is effed up.
No, see, I log out, and I like my little one, they're on an incognito tab. If you have little ones and you don't want your personal algorithm touched in any way, shape, or form, incognito, or set up a guest account.
I've watched the Elmo slide so many goddamn times.
There was a good 2-year period where my life was just Cocomelon. Yep, I get it. Oh, also tech-wise,
these words that you're saying, I don't.
You don't want to know. Don't worry about it.
I actually recommend watching Bluey. Pretty nice.
Bluey is a show written for adults that just happens to be set in a children's play area. Also, lesser known tech channels, or not really lesser known, but not talked about already. Moore's Law is Dead is a really great tech channel if you want breakdowns of what is happening in the Intel, AMD, NVIDIA space. He's really good. Pulse Hardware is also a really good one. If you like keyboards, Hippiotech and Click and Switch are both really good channels. If you enjoy mechanical keyboards, and some other history recommendations I can give you: History of Bridge with Jack Rackham, Stukui, everything that Steven does in terms of whether he's playing Hearts of Iron 4 or he doesn't play Crusader Kings, Hearts of Iron 4 or Victoria 3, and whatever Hearts of Iron 4 mod that he's playing that he just breaks automatically. And another tech YouTuber that I enjoy quite a bit is Craft Computing. Thank you for that question, Kirby. We're going to move now to the news and topics. And hey, when it comes to news this week, dead silence. Just nothing. There's a new welcome offer in branch for the autograph journey. Do you have Wells Fargo Premier? No? Okay. Never mind. That's all I can give you there. Yeah, you can join our membership. You can become members at the YouTube channel, but we do have new members this week. We have new silver members: Gabby Huberman Schlace. I hope I pronounced your last name properly. My apologies if I didn't. Rel, Ben Trimble, Brandon Hirsch, Matthew Smith, Sean D. Mike Newland has returned as a member of the channel. Thank you so much, Mike. Mark Silvis, Bill Wright is our new gold member. And as always, we have our diamond members: Rex Bleen, Rupert Pond, Double Animal Fries, AP, Keith, and Mitch 528. We appreciate you all for being members. To our new members, welcome. To our established members, thank you so much for your continued support. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye for now.